happy weekend, happy Saturday. I'm back and I'm making some salmon tonight. I'm gonna do a different way than I showed the last couple of times. I seared it. This time I'm gonna do it foil wrapped in the oven. Super yummy, super moist, so good, and very easy. So I'm gonna share that with you step by step now. Also, I'm going to show a little clip next, a photo of some sushi that I made today for lunch that was keto friendly. Instead of rice, I used a cucumber wrap, made it California roll style with some crab, with some avocado lime mayo, some avocado, some cream cheese, some scallions, dipped it in a sriracha mayo and soy sauce. It was freaking bomb. And I just kind of like created it out of my noggin, out of nowhere, because I felt like sushi. So I'm really proud of that. I will show you a picture of that next, and then I will take you through the salmon prep. So I have taken the skin off the salmon. That makes it taste a lot less fishy. So if you don't like salmon because you think it's too fishy, make sure you're cooking it without the skin and that it is not pre-frozen. I am able to buy this fresh at Walmart and it makes such a difference. When it's been frozen, that just like ups the fishiness of it. So totally different when you can get it fresh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season these up with some Chicago steak seasoning. It is really good. It's just a blend of salt, garlic, red bell pepper, some cayenne, and then a pat of Kerrygold butter on top of each of these. I'm gonna wrap them up like little pouches and pop them in the oven. I'll show you what it looks like in just a moment. Chicago steak seasoning, a pat of butter, and they are ready to wrap up. We're wrapped up into little foil pouches. It does not have to be anything pretty. You're just basically squeezing together the ends so that you've got it sealed up, so you've got a nice little pouch for it to steam in. I'm going to pop these in a 400-degree oven for only about 10 or 15 minutes. You want it to be flaky but not overdone. I'm going to make some creamy bacon Brussels sprouts that are so good. Right now I've got 6 pieces of chopped bacon that I am just frying up, and then I will take them out and leave the grease in there. And then I will put in, I've got 2 pounds here, I'm working on having them, of Brussels sprouts. What I do is I cut the end off and then I slice them in half this way. And all these little pieces, these leaves that fall off, don't get rid of these. These are like straight fire. They are so good. They turn into almost like chips. Especially if you bake them, you can pull all of these off and make Brussels sprout chips. They are awesome. I used to not really care for Brussels sprouts, but that was because I did not know how to cook them correctly. Plain steamed, they're kind of icky, but if you roast them or bake them or saute them with some bacon and cream, they are straight fire. Anyway, I will show you the next step when I get there. I'm going to work on cutting the rest of these. Here's the Brussels sprouts, guys. I've got them cooking in the bacon grease. I've got my bacon chilling out over there. Just pulled the salmon out of the oven. Going to let it hang out. Still wrapped up in the foil. I'll show you what it looks like when it all comes together. Brussels sprouts kind of get a little bit charred, and then I just added a cup of heavy whipping cream. That's for 2 pounds of Brussels sprouts. If you're only doing 1 pound, you only need a half a cup. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. I'm going to pop a lid on it and I'm going to let these suckers go for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe, just until they look done. Sauce is sticking up, all that good stuff. Then I'll throw the bacon back in it and then it will be done. Guys, the Brussels sprouts are done. They are flippin' gorgeous. Basically all of the cream has soaked up and thickened. I have added most of the bacon back into the pan. I saved a little bit that I'm just going to kind of garnish on top with. I have the oven off, but I popped the salmon back in there just so it would stay warm. I'm about to take that out and plate this. Here it is. We've got the foil wrapped salmon and the Brussels sprouts braised in cream and bacon. And I'm about to eat this up. Hey guys, dinner time again, and I'm going to put a new spin on an old recipe that I actually shared a couple weeks ago. It was the sweet and savory Asian steak bite recipe. If you scroll down on my Instagram feed or on my Facebook page, it is there. But this time I am actually adding an orange. The juice of it, the rinds and everything I'm throwing right in the marinade to put like a little orange beef spin on that recipe. So I'll take you through that. Here I've got about 1.5 pounds big piece of sirloin, and I cut it into 1-inch cubes. I've got it with 2/3 cup soy sauce, a few cloves of garlic finely chopped, 4 tablespoons of golden monk fruit sweetener, and then 1 orange that I have juiced in there, and I'm just throwing the rind right in with it for more flavor. Give that a little stir, pop it in the fridge for about an hour, and I'll be ready to cook it up. I know it's loud, but I am basically just searing off for about a minute or so on each side. The marinated steak bites, I have drained out the marinade. I'm boiling the heck out of it so that it is safe to use as a sauce afterwards if I need it. I have stir-fried on high heat just a couple of minutes some broccoli and some green onions and some bell peppers. This is the half of the batch that is already cooked. I like to do it in 2 parts so it doesn't overcrowd the pan. I'll show you what it looks like when I throw it all together. Hey guys, what is up? It is dinner time, and as always, I'm going to take you through my quick, yummy keto dinner prep. So I'm going to make something new and super delicious, and it's actually pretty easy. It is actually a Wendy's spicy chicken dupe, which of course we're not going to be doing the bread. We're going to be doing some iceberg lettuce buns instead. But the magic is going to be in this chicken, which is right now marinating in some Frank's Red Hot sauce alone, no other seasonings or anything like that. Basically, I took chicken breasts and I pounded them out with a meat mallet until they were like sandwich thickness, and then they kind of spread out and got huge, so I cut them in half. So 2 large breasts is going to give me enough for 4 sandwiches. And basically right now I'm just going to let that chicken marinate in all of that yummy hot sauce goodness, and I will catch you on the flip side of that. I have also decided I'm gonna kind of go balls to the wall tonight, and I'm gonna make some appetizers. I've got some thinly sliced cheese I want to make homemade keto Cheezits with, because I have a couple of dips. I have a spinach dip and I have a buffalo chicken dip that I bought pre-made from the deli, and I thought that the Cheezits would be the perfect vehicle for those to kind of eat. I'll have some tonight, who are we kidding, but to kind of eat for the next couple days to snack on as well. And I'm going to be making a dessert that I haven't made probably since last summer, and it is a yellow squash keto custard cake. It's phenomenal, and I know it sounds weird, but it's not, trust me. Anyway, I'm gonna start with, I've got 2 cups of yellow squash that I peeled and then cut into cubes. Now, I did not have any big seeds in it, but I know that sometimes if you get like a big squash, see these, how the seeds are just like barely there. So I just left them. But if you've got a larger squash, it's got those big, like harder looking seeds in it, I would scoop those out. But anyway, you want 2 cups of the squash. I'm going to boil it in some water for about 20 minutes and get it super soft, and then I'll show you the rest when we come back, and I'm going to get the Cheez-Its started too. I have got my cheese ready to go in the oven. I have got some pepper jack and some cheddar. I asked the deli to cut it super thin, because the thinner the cheese is cut, the crispier your cracker is going to be, and it's going to stay crispier. And then if you'll notice, I cut the little signature Cheez-It hole in the middle. I just used a little reusable hard plastic straw to do that. And then I cut the slices into fourths, and I sprinkled with a final little sprinkling of coarse pink sea salt. I've got an oven preheated to 250 degrees. That's right, 250, not 350. This is a low temperature. And I'm going to pop them in there for about 30 to 40 minutes until they are golden brown and look like Cheez-Its. So I'll show you what they look like when they come out. My squash is still boiling away, and my chicken is marinating in Frank, so I'm going to tend to that while these are baking up. The squash cooked for 20 minutes, got super soft, so I drained the water off and put in 3/4 cups or 170 grams of Kerrygold butter and stirred that up so that it melted while it was still hot. Next, I'm going to add a full cup of whatever preferred sweetener you use. I am digging this Lakanto Golden Monk Fruit. It's keto friendly and has no aftertaste. It's amazing. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add 2/3 cup of almond flour. I'm going to add a tablespoon of whey protein. I like this integrated supplements whey. It's low carb, all natural, tastes good. 4 eggs and an entire can of coconut milk. You can use coconut cream if you can find it, but I cannot. But I've got a good bit of solidified coconut cream in this one, so it should work out fine. So I'm going to mix all this together, and I'm going to put it in a 9x13 baking dish and bake at 375 for about 25-ish minutes or until set. I will show you what it looks like. This is what the batter looks like before I put it into the oven. It's still got like a little bit of pieces of like squash and protein and stuff in it that I couldn't quite get mixed up by hand with a whisk, but that's okay. When it bakes up, it's going to be great. You could put it in a blender if you wanted a smooth texture, but I really like having those little pieces of squash throughout. So that's why I do it by hand. I'm getting ready to pull the Cheezits out, and then I'm going to crank the oven up to 375, and in this will go. My Cheezits are out of the oven. They are thin and crispy and awesome. So I'm just going to let these cool off, and they'll be ready for dips and, you know, snacking and anything else. But I did try one, and they are fabulous. And my little hole I made in with the straw held up on most of them. You'll see some of them will close up, and that's fine. But they taste amazing. That's all that matters. Back to the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich dupe. This is going to be my breading for the spicy chicken. And what it is, it's a whole 5-ounce bag of Max Red Hot pork rinds that I put in the blender and just made a fine powder out of. So when I take the chicken breast out of the hot sauce marinade in a couple minutes, I'm just going to kind of roll them around gently in this, and they will have some wetness to them, so this should stick. But I want to still handle them very carefully so that everything stays intact. Now, does that not look like straight fire? I mean, look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to fry these up for a couple minutes on each side and get, you know, a good golden brown crust going on them. And then since I've already got the oven preheated with the cake in it, I am going to transfer them over to some parchment-lined a baking sheet and pop them in the oven to finish them. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when they are all through, but I just had to take a moment of appreciation for that crispiness. Guys, I did it. And this thing is the size of my hand. I'll probably cut it in half. But look at it. Isn't it awesome? A spicy chicken Wendy's dupe, keto style. Oh, I'm going to dig into this. All right, and this is the squash cake. I've let it cool for a while, so it's nice and set in the middle. I kind of like mine both hot or cold. I don't know. I'll probably let it cool a little bit longer, but it's golden brown around the outside, and it's got kind of like a custard texture. I really like it with whipped cream on top. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when I serve it. But again, you can eat it hot or cold. And when I post this to YouTube, I will have the whole recipe written down in the description box.